Hey guys, Joy here. So I hope you found the last video useful. I mean, it's just a basic introduction about the subjects that we have in MBBS and that the about the books that we were supposed to follow during our college also. And I also like gave an overview about the entrance exams as well, about the FMGE and the PG preps as well. And yesterday actually I had forgotten to like, because I was just shooting it randomly. I didn't shoot the video in any like proper order, so please forgive me for like not sticking exactly. I actually missed out a few subjects which I would like to add upon. So yesterday I talked about the first year subject like anat. Uske साथ we have histology, embryology and neuroanatomy. So for histology, actually, like there's a book called Inderbir Singh for histology. Apart from that, there are like other good international author books also. There's one book which I remember I used it in college. I didn't bring it back after my graduation. I actually left it back there with my juniors. That it was an international book. I remember it started with W something, Vitaka or something like that. It was also quite a good book. It had like a lot of good images and stuff. But I actually got back Inderbir Singh with me. So this is the book which I was talking about. This is Inderbir's textbook of human histology. And apart from that, regarding embryology, there's a very good book known as Langman's Embryology. It's a very good book, and if you guys can use that, that will be really good. For us, actually, during our first year, our histology and embryology, we had very good slides. So actually, like I did not use the textbooks as in depth as such. So like we just use the slides and some medical videos and stuff. But towards during the entrance preparation phase and all, I had started using Across guidebook. So in that time I had thoroughly done embryology, histology, all that from the anatomy section in that book. Apart from that, actually, to just get orient myself with the images and stuff from histology and embryology again during my entrance preparation period. During that time, actually, so even now actually, during my college time and even now, I mean, after like I've graduated and all, I'm actually just referring to a good book of histology and embryology again, just for like glancing through the important images and stuff and to know the basic concepts. But at this point of time, we are actually relying on coaching notes, but still we need to go over the images again in histology and embryology. For that, I'm using Netter's Essential Histology and The Developing Human by Keith L. Moore, the same author who wrote Essential Clinical Anatomy, the textbook of anatomy which I had used in my first year. So actually, this is the textbook I would like to show you guys. So this is the textbook of histology and embryology. So basically, this is an international book. Even though you can see it's a Chinese heading and stuff, it is an English book, but it is a Chinese what do you say, edition of this. But everything is in English, as you can see. And the best thing about this book is it is so beautifully written, and the images are very well like drawn and sketched, because it's by Netters, as I mentioned. So Professor Netter has drawn some amazing images here in this book, and it's a very good I would say it's like it's a perfect atlas of histo and embryology. So if you guys can get this book, like if you prefer this over Langman, you decide one of these and just buy it, either Langman or you can use this book. So I'll just give you an example. So for example, you can see like in this book is shown the embryology of the kidney so well, and then he goes on to talk about the different aspects as well. And it's very beautifully, the images are very beautiful and very interesting to see and stuff. And like I really recommend this book. Even now for my entrance preps, it's very useful. And for neuroanatomy, I did not mention, for neuroanatomy also I had used a book by Dr. Inderbir Singh, and also I think I used another international author as well for neuroanatomy. So it was but I gave the books over to my juniors before I left. but these were very good for neuroanatomy, and for like just seeing the images from neuro, I used the Netter's Atlas of Neuroscience. That is a separate atlas as well, so you guys can try searching for it. And apart from that, I didn't mention about parasitology. In so basically in like the third year you had the microbiology, immunology, and parasitology. So for parasitology, there's a good book by Dr. Panikar, Dr. Panikar's textbook of medical parasitology, or you guys can use a book by Chatterjee, Dr. Chatterjee's book of parasitology, also a very good book. And I mentioned yesterday about the book called Javed's Review of Microbiology and Parasitology, the international author book. That book also has a parasitology section. So like you don't have to buy multiple books, so just select any one book. But if you're preparing for your Indian PG entrance exams and stuff, in that case then I suggest you stick to a good Indian author like A. Anandanaran Panikar, that's it. I mean, you decide like and see which book you like. And apart from that, for radiology, I didn't mention radio. For radiology, though it's like not a major subject back home here, but since we had the course there, I actually had bought a book for radiology, and I mainly used a book called Learning Radiology, Recognizing the Basics by Dr. William Herring. So this also is an international book, and it's very well written. It has plenty of X-ray images and CT and MRI images and all that, and explains everything from the very basics, and it's written in a very clear concise manner for students to read. It's very user friendly and lot of images, so you guys can see it's like it has a lot of X-ray, CT images and stuff, and all the descriptions are given very well in this book. And so just the so like in this there are different dedicated chapters for CT, MRI, ultrasonography, all that. And this is the book which I used actually. It's called Learning Radiology, Recognizing the Basics, and it is actually an international edition book. It's written in English, as you guys can see. It's a very good book, and if you guys want to know extra like more details in radiology and you're interested in it, then I would suggest you guys to refer to a book known as Sutton. Sutton is actually the Bible of radiology. If you guys need extra information or more interested in radiology, refer to Sutton. Sutton is like Grace for anatomy. Okay, and apart from that, I would also like to talk about Sumer sir's book on radiology. So Dr. Sumer sir is the founder of DAMS. He has also written a wonderful book of radiology. He's a very good radiologist, and his book was very good, and I used this book as well during my internship. The best thing about this book is everything essential is needed for our preps. Everything is there inside this book. So I suggest you guys all to buy this book after you've done your basic orientation to radiology from a good textbook. And apart from that, I would also like to give you guys a few tips regarding your internship. When you guys are in internship, some useful reference books would be like Oxford Handbook of Clinical Medicine. This is a very good book, and it has, the best thing about this book is everything is divided into the different systems. So you have a system on history, taking an examination, cardiovascular medicine, chest medicine, endocrinology, gastroenterology, renal medicine, infectious diseases, nephrology, oncology, etc. So these are the various sections you can see. And the best thing about this book is, like, if you want to know any disease condition, you can immediately like open up this book and just refer to it in any condition. So as you guys can see, it's very useful during your clinical postings and stuff. So I would highly recommend this book. So yeah, you can see like everything is written in a very neat manner, and all the essentials are there about the history, how the physical examination, about the clinical signs and symptoms, the diagnostic, the technique, the treatment which are being used and all. So very good book for quick reference during your rounds and stuff, and contains all the must yield, high yield information which you guys need to know while seeing patients and diagnosing. And apart from that, another book is the Oxford Handbook of Clinical Specialties. So these involve the specialties which are not mentioned, such as in the other book, such as obstetrics, pediatrics, gynecology, psychiatry, ophthalmology, primary care, ENT, dermatology, anesthesia, orthopedics and trauma. So this is the book which I said, Oxford Handbook of Clinical Specialties, another very good book. And the last book which I would like to recommend is, since we all struggle with pharmacology, a good book for pharmacology to remember the drug names and to recollect things would be K.D. Tripaঠি's Pharmacological Classification of Drugs. It's a very good book because it has all the basic drug classifications are written in a very nice, concise manner in the form of charts. And after that, he describes about the individual medicines, the names of the medicines and the dosages required. So it's a very useful book, especially when you are going into clinical practice. It's going to be very helpful. So so basically this is all I would like to talk about in this video. So hope you guys found it useful.